We're in this bitch. Cameras are rolling.
Alright.
It's cool. Conversations with Dante is cool. Okay. Very special guest. Because all my guests are special. Of course. Would you like to introduce yourself to the people right now, sir?
Yeah, sure. My name is Justin. I do music. I do a lot of different stuff. I like playing guitar. I like DJing. I like making solo music. I like making music with my homie Kobe. I'm in a band called Frederick's Dead. I was in another band called Mirador a long time ago. I've been in a couple other bands over the past 5-6 years. What else?
There's a couple things I want to get into.
Yeah.
One being music, of course. Music, art. First question I like to ask, where did art start for you, basically, in your life?
Art started for me when I was very young. I can remember, like, my first musical memories are going to an Earth, Wind & Fire concert.
That's dope.
Listening to Bill Withers in the car. Listening to hip-hop at home and at cookouts and in the car. And that's like how music came into my life. Like, my parents, my mom and my stepdad, and my biological dad, but mainly my stepdad, like, put me onto a lot of hip-hop and a lot of, like, old school Earth, Wind & Fire-esque music genres. And also go-go. I remember hearing go-go when I was younger. Even though I don't know if I heard go-go in person when I went to DC when I was younger, but, like, stuff like that was being played around me. And then also some of the shows I went to was, like, DJs like DJ B. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a local DJ. I've been around people like him and, like, DJ Puff Dragon, rest in peace. Stuff like that was my first musical foundations as a child.
Alright, that's tough. So when did you start making music? Like, when did that start for you?
So, making music as in just playing an instrument, or making music as in, like, original, my own, this is Justin music?
Just period.
Period? Probably when I started singing in chorus when I was in elementary school, so, like, 2nd grade, 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And then I started playing violin when I was in 7th grade. And then from 7th to 8th grade I played. And then at some point in 8th grade, I think it was the summer between my 8th grade and my 9th grade year, I quit violin and I started playing guitar. And so, like, when I started playing guitar, that's when I started actually making my own original music. I was playing a lot of covers at first, and I was in a cover band, but I was still, like, doing a lot of my own ideas. And that was the first time in my life where I was like, oh shit, I just wrote a song. Or, like, oh, I'm playing this with a drummer. Or I'm playing this with another guitarist, and this is, like, not somebody else's music. Because one of the things I got bored of in orchestra was playing other people's music that I didn't really like too much. And the classical music that I did like, we weren't playing. So I was just like, I don't want to do this. But yeah, it started when I was in chorus, like I said. Probably like 2nd, 3rd grade, I remember that. And just messing around on instruments, like, here and there. And I also remember when I was young, long story short, I basically had went to one of DJ B's, he had like a residency at some radio. I forgot what radio station it was, but it was, like, right down the street from my house. And I remember going to that place, and that was the first time that I had ever seen, like, real turntables with real vinyl, and I, like, put my hands on it. I didn't really, like, do anything because I was 8 or 9 or 10 or something. But I just remember a vivid memory of, like, me being there and that being, like, a musical memory of, like, oh shit, like, I want to do something like this, and I think I might want to DJ when I get older. Because at that point I had already had a pretty decent collection of, like, all the genres that I said in the beginning, like hip-hop, a little bit of go-go, a lot of, like, soul, a lot of, like, old black music, but mainly a lot of hip-hop. Like, I grew up on the bulk of late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s hip-hop. So who's some of your favorite 90s artists? Rap artists? Hip-hop?
Yeah, hip-hop artists.
damn, that's hard. I like Big L, I like Big Pun, I like Tribe Called Quest, I like Jedi Mind Tricks, I like Gangstar Guru. I'm trying to name stuff more so that I heard when I was that young. EPMD.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the big ones, I would say. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I ain't start getting into people like Mos Def until I was a little older.
Yeah.
To like comprehend what he's
Yeah,
saying.
it is like you can't being like 8 listening to Mos Def is a
like,
little like
what you reading?
Yeah, like,
What your parents got you studying?
what, like you got kids, kid, like
Yeah, nah, for real.
You can smoking a Newport with a Kango on, like
For real.
Injustice, justice. You're 12. What's going on? No.
I said justice. Did you know nigga is derived from the word niggas? That's just mad funny, bro.
Yeah, you learned that in elementary school today? Like
Yeah, nah, I wasn't on that. Like,
But,
I wasn't on that time.
Alright, so let me get back to some of your art. Talking Frederick's Dead. How'd that come about?
Frederick's Dead came about through me being in Mirador. And so Mirador was the band that I formed with my drummer Martin. Yeah, I initially formed it with my drummer Martin. So like when I started playing guitar after I quit playing violin, I was in a cover band. I was in that cover band for like a year and some change. Martin was also in that cover band. He was a drummer. So I've been playing with Martin since I was like 15. We played in that, got bored of it, started our own shit with a couple other members from that band. The other members of that cover band changed quite a few times, like in little ways. Like a member would leave and they would get replaced. A member would leave and they would get replaced, like different stuff like that. Different people would fill in if someone couldn't make a gig because we were literally all 15, 16, 17 and stuff like that. So 2 other people that ended up being in the band when we transitioned out of it came with us and formed Mirador. So it was me, Martin, other guitarist Alex, and another bassist Eli. And so we played in Mirador from like, if I can remember the years, like 2016 to 2018 or something like that, or 2015 to 2018. And like in that time we played a bunch of shows at a lot of DIY venues that don't exist anymore. My favorite of which is the Fort. Shout out Danny Zawacki. That's probably one of my favorite venues that I've ever played at in my entire life. It was like a small ass storage unit, no bigger than like this backyard where your house, if it came all the way, like the storage unit was probably half of it, and people would stand on the outside and like, watch the shows. That's all it was. It was free, and it was like just a great place in my opinion. But not to get too much away from it. But like we played places like there for a little while, and then at some point in 2018, pretty sure it was 2018. Or it might have been 2019, I don't remember. So my friend Langston, at that time he was just my friend. I had played with him a couple times. He plays bass. He filled in for Eli at one of the gigs that we played. And he ended up hanging out with Martin sometimes. And then somehow or another, like, they got in contact with this other homie, Aswan, who's in Frederick's Dead. He's a vocalist. And Langston tells the story better than I can because I wasn't there, but they went to go see some sci-fi movie. I forgot, bro. I'm sorry, Langston, ahead of time. I don't remember the name of the movie y'all saw. He's gonna be kind of like, oh, you don't remember? I think it was fucking Pacific Rim. Yeah. They saw Pacific Rim and they were just like all together in a car smoking or whatever. Yeah. And Langston brought up the idea, what if we started a rap metal band? And then Martin was like, okay. And he was like, I'll tell Justin about it. And I remember when they told me about it, I was like, yeah. Because I heard Aswan rap before, and Aswan has bars. Yeah. So like, and I also already knew that we weren't gonna sound like fucking Rage Against the Machine or something. Yeah. Like we're not about to go sound like some other band, or like we're definitely not about to sound like Limp Bizkit or some new metal shit. Yeah. Like even though that's certain music that we're influenced from. But that's how Frederick's Dead started, and then from there we've come a long way from where we first started. Not only in terms of our sound, but in terms of our like relationship with each other as brothers, basically.
Yeah.
And to the point now where we got our album, Let the World Die, coming out sometime this year. It's done being mastered, but right now we're working on all the visual, artistic parts of it.
That's why I can't wait to hear it. Y'all are super tough.
Thank you.
Like, I remember when you first showed it to me, I was like, like, and these are black people, yes.
Nah, bro, I feel you.
Like
being in a band with other black brothers and like playing heavy ass music, that shit is different.
yeah, it's
Like
sick.
it's different
so sick
than
to see.
literally any other music that I've done ever. And the way that it hits live now is like crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to show you some of the videos. Like after
Yeah,
this is
definitely,
done.
definitely.
I'm gonna have to show you some. And also just we have a show on July 14th. Be there.
Where at?
It's called Shark City Barbell. It's a gym. It's a powerlifting gym in Norfolk.
Word, yeah.
So Langston be going there. I've gone there a couple times, but I don't attend there like currently. That's Langston's home gym though,
Word.
and he's homies with the owner Andre, and so we're gonna do a show in there with a bunch of other hardcore bands.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely
pull
gonna
up,
fade that. Yeah,
pull up,
definitely gonna fade
Be
that.
there. It'll be a really fun experience. Cause Fred's dad hasn't played a show in Norfolk in like 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Just like out of state.
Yeah, we've been playing a lot of shows in New York
Yeah.
because Swan went to Columbia.
Word.
So we got like a lot of hookups for shows up there, and we've played some shows in some other places. But in Norfolk, we haven't really played too many.
That's tough. That's gonna be sick. I went to like one hardcore show out in Norfolk by accident. I was just like, me and Scott were just like walking around. It's just like a bunch of people in like a pit somewhere. Like, she was outside and everything.
Outside?
Yeah.
What year?
Well, it was like sort of same setup. It was like a small garage that fucking people were just playing in. There was a couple people that were in it, but there were a bunch of people like outside of it. Like more people were outside of it than in it or whatever. Everybody that was inside of it, you know what I'm saying?
It's just fire.
Yeah. So it went. What year was it? It was like last year, I think.
That's
I think it was
cool.
last year.
That's really
Yeah.
good. Because a lot of venues like that don't exist no more.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't really see people playing outside out here in Norfolk or like Virginia Beach.
I still
It's
got
more
the
so
flyer.
like I've seen people play shows in Richmond, like under the
Yeah.
fucking bridge, like
Yeah, yeah.
near Belle Isle and stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying to play one of those shows too, because that shit looks
Very
turd.
fire. There's somebody that I was talking about up here who just does like random shows like in New York, like what's the like LES? He did a show in LES that's like randomly.
I don't know what that is.
Like, it's like a skate park or whatever under a bridge. It's a pretty like decently known.
That's cool.
or whatever, but yeah, it's just like random ass shit like that. So, all right, so I'm going to transition a little bit
Yeah.
because shit's fire as fuck. We was talking about black agriculture and fucking farming and all this sort of stuff. Like, could you tell me some things about that, like what it means to you and shit? How you've been diving into it lately?
Man, it's really
sick.
It's really interesting. I'll first start off by saying it's extremely important for people that look like us. Not only black people, but specifically like I would say black men to like really know about that shit because not only stereotypically are we depicted as like providers, but most black men that I know literally like that's what they want to be in some shape or fashion.
Yeah.
And it's just like as black people as a whole, I think it's important that we get connected more directly to resources. Like I've been having this conversation a couple times recently, just the whole, I guess, duality between resources and money. I kind of see money as the symbolic representation of resources, but having direct access to the resource is having direct access to the resource. Like literally there's no substitute for being able to, for example, go to a farm that has vegetables and being able to go straight to the farm instead of go to the store and have it go through so many other hands and you don't really know what's happened to it. And most of the times when you go to the store, you don't really know the true origin. Even if you know what farm it comes from, you don't know the conditions of that farm. You don't know how much people are getting paid. You don't know exactly what's in that soil. You've never seen soil samples of like the health of that soil. And for animals, it's like even more so like that. Because most of the meat that we're getting from the store comes from factories. Like, it's not coming from somebody's backyard or somebody's, like, homestead farm or some shit like that. So, like, for me, it's been interesting because I've been working on a hemp farm for, like, 3 months. And before this, I've never worked on a farm before. I've done outside jobs before, and I've done jobs where I've done, like, a lot of manual labor. But in terms of being on land, like acreage, and land that has been farmed upon for, like, the past 10, 15 years, through different hands and shit like that, it's definitely like an enlightening experience because it's showing me just, I've been on like a health journey for a long time, like since I was 16, in terms of food, first and foremost, but then food led me into like different aspects of spirituality and different aspects of just simple human stuff. And now since I'm deep into that food journey and just like the health and wellness journey, it makes sense for me to try to have experiences that are me getting more connected to resources. And so like working on this farm has been cool. Last week I did chicken processing for the first time. I've been visiting farms. I've been going to the farmers market in Norfolk, 2 of them in Norfolk for the past year and a half now. I just went to a Juneteenth event this past weekend in what's called Unionsville, Virginia. There's this farm called Carter Farm. And it's like a farm that's, I think, 100+ acres that's been passed down 4 generations to the current owner. He said his great-grandparents acquired the land in, like, the early 1900s, like, as a part of some Reconstruction era type stuff where they, like, allotted money and land to certain Black people. I don't really know the full history of his family, but that's like the gist of it. And so I went there this past Saturday and got connected to some other Black farmers. I'm planning to go to an event this Saturday in Newport News. It's basically it's an urban farm event. I think it's called Hampton Roads Urban Agriculture. That's the organization.
I didn't even know.
And there's a lot of Black people involved in that. Exactly, most people don't, bro. And it's like, I would say most people, even outside of Black people, are not aware or really interested in this shit. But everybody wants to eat, though.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to eat. Like, literally, everybody wants to eat. Everybody wants to go to the store. Everybody wants to be comfortable. But not a lot of people want to either do the work, become aware of how much work it takes, invest in someone who is doing the work, or even just like take it upon themselves to have like a vegetable garden in their house. Or like, it's so easy to have chickens in your backyard. Like, you could have chickens back here. Like, you could have hella raised beds back here. You could have like a little self-sufficient. You could have, bro, I literally the other day I put on a bee suit for the first time and was fucking with bees. Like, you can have legally in, I think in Virginia Beach and Norfolk, you can have 1 or 2 bee colonies.
Really?
And bro, one hive produces up to 60 pounds of honey.
Oh wow.
So it's like people don't even realize how much you could be
getting the trap.
Doing, like with just your own backyard in the suburbs, let alone like a farm that has multiple acres and stuff like that. And we talk about, like, I don't know, I've heard a lot of stuff in the Black community, not only from like the people in the Black community who are very like about investing and about money and stuff like that, but also the people in the Black community who are super on the spirituality and like the African bookstore tip. Of just like figuring out ways to have more power and to have more just solidarity as a community. And I definitely feel like the agriculture route is one of the ways that we can more directly have those things for our own selves without having like intermediate people involved if we don't want to have that. And all it really takes is like a small group of people who are committed. For example, if you want to have an urban farm that's like 1 or 2 acres, that's not that much land, but you can do a lot with that. Like literally the event that I'm going to on Saturday, I don't know how many acres they have, but judging by the picture they have on their Instagram, it looks like it's like about 3 or 4 acres, which is not huge, but like it's decent size when you got a bunch of plants on there. And all it takes is like more people like me who are interested to learn more and find out what their niche is, because there's so many different niches, like just like music, like there's so many different little avenues that you could take to still be a musician. But I'm not the same musician as some other person down the street.
Yeah.
Like my style of DJing is not at all gonna be like some other person's style of DJing.
Mm-hmm.
Just like farming, it's like no two people farm the same. And when it comes to just, I don't know, black people having a stake in it, it's just like you see the shit that they've done to us in this country and how little we own and how much we used to own. And it's just like, bro, like, I'm not trying to stay locked in this generational curse stuff. Yeah, because it's real.
Yeah, that is.
Like, it's very real. And I'm not about to just stay here. I'm about to, like, try to do something.
Yeah.
And I know my lifestyle and how I like to live. So first and foremost, I'm gonna make sure I'm straight, and then I'm gonna make sure like everybody that I love is straight, and that has the means which they can go support themselves and go literally do simple human stuff like get their own food. Yeah. Like, it's kind of weird how we don't really do that anymore. At least not in this society. It's like most people don't have the means to attain their own resources, which as a human, like, we all learn in elementary school, it's food, water, and shelter.
Yeah.
Or food, clothing, and shelter, or whatever the basic needs are. Most people don't have the means to create those things on our own. We go to the store.
Yeah.
Which is cool. It's nice to be able to go to the store because globalization is cool and like we have access to things. But at the same time, like, the land that we're living on is like has such a deep history of being cultivated by people who know how to cultivate it. And most people that live on this land now are like not really doing that.
Yeah.
That's some of the stuff that's been influencing me to like move in that direction.
Yeah. Dude, I'm trying to slide to the joint at Newport News.
You should.
That shit sounds fire as fuck. Like, I'm definitely into all that. It's definitely empowerment. It's even self-empowerment. Like you said, be able to not just go to the store, fucking actually go in your backyard. It's so cool when people give you like fruits and vegetables that they made too. Like, it's like so sick.
Yeah, it'd be tasting better too.
Yeah.
Literally.
Way better.
Yeah, and you know where it came from.
Yeah.
Which is like the most important thing to me about the whole thing. No matter, like, even outside of food, even if you want to talk about like cannabis, for example. Yeah. Like, most of the weed people smoke, nobody knows where it's from. You don't know who grew that. But you're putting it in your body though, and it's affecting a lot of your systems long term. Yeah. Like, same thing with food. It's just like, I think we should just, like, not only as people on a broad term, but you said specifically like black agriculture, like black farming and stuff like that. Yeah. I think that's stuff that we should be paying a little bit more attention to.
Definitely.
Because it's important.
When you said it, I was like...
And I don't really, at this point in my life, like, I was plant-based for a long time. I technically still am plant-based. I eat meat and stuff now because I know where it comes from when I go to a farm. I think people should do whatever they want. They should just do it in a way where they know what's happening. Yeah. Like, I'm not here to tell nobody, like, to live a certain lifestyle or, like, vegan this, plant-based this, carnivore diet this. Like, I'm not really about that. To this point, I'm just like, just go find yourself. Yeah. That's really all that we can do, in my opinion. That's all really I'm trying to do right now, and that I am doing, is finding myself through my experiences.
Oh, that's so... I'm blown away. That's amazing.
Do you have any other?
Get a fucking farm, nigga. Pussy. Let me stop. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do all that. Exactly. Get some land. You in an apartment, pretend like it's some land. Get some pots. Start growing a fucking corn. Yeah, go corn.
Even if you don't want to, even if you don't want to do all that, just like start small. Just like start eating more natural food. Like,
put it in your cornbread. Yeah, and flip the cornbread. Now you're getting dough. Now you got motion.
Hey, yo. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're mad funny.
Alright, that was our time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
hug your mom or dad or girlfriend or boyfriend or
Hug yourself.
a stranger that looks friendly enough. Hug yourself.
Hug the corn.
Hug the corn.
Make it grow.
I'm telling you, you grow some grapes, you bust that down to some jelly, okay?
Peanut butter
Streets
jelly
need jelly.
sandwich.
Come on.
Peanut butter jelly sandwich.
What's George Washington Carver?
You know they grow mad
Think about
peanuts in Virginia, right?
I didn't even know that.
There's a peanut factory in Suffolk.
Oh yeah, there definitely is. You know what else they do in Suffolk? Jumping out of fucking planes. Choose your lifestyle.
Do that.
Okay? But I'm gonna stop being so aggressive towards y'all. I haven't said this in the last couple of videos, but you should like the shit and comment if you got this far. You know? Thanks. Yeah, love you.
Love
See you
y'all
later.
too. Thank y'all for letting me talk about stuff.